Good morning, everybody. This is January 21st. It's Tuesday, 2020. And just got some things I'm working on. And I knew this before I got into the inverters, but I've proven my MoGen technology with the 750 amp hour battery pack system. And when it came down to doing 1.5 kW, it was just a little over 36 kilowatt hours per day needed to run that. So now we're stepping up to 312.5 amps for the inverter system, and that calculates to 7,500 amp hours a day at 48 volts. So that's 360 when you're just multiplying by 10 to get there. And so when you start looking around at conventional batteries to do that, the one thing that you'll notice, they get very heavy. And remember, the reason I got started with this technology was the first one was just to build the swimming pool motor, and that's how I discovered the asymmetrical system. And like I'll always tell you, you don't get nothing, you don't get something for nothing. The materials and everything, and as you actually build the bigger machines, they do get less expensive once you understand what you're doing. But when you're constructing your own system and then working with the materials that are out there, and the people that have experience actually producing for sale what they're doing, then you're taking a proven system and doing that. When I developed the working MoGen, I wanted to run it at 10 amps, okay? And so I based everything on that, and it worked out pretty well. I could get more out of it for specific, times and everything, but I designed the system for 10 amps. And now we're basically going from a 10 amp system to a 100 amp system. So yeah, we're getting into bigger sizes, but that's what it really boils down to. Anyway, you calculate the energy backwards, forward, upside down, backwards. So this particular product that I'm working with weighs about 170 pounds. Okay, and you got to remember that my goal with all this is to fit it in an airplane motor system to do that. So I'm at 170 pounds without the motor itself and without the batteries itself. Okay. And so with all the tricks and stuff that I know, it's still going to be very, very challenging. And I know I can do it, but I know the technology to get it there. And I've done the experiments with the different types of batteries, and like I've told many people many times, I keep coming back to just carbon based batteries. And the management system that I have is just building in the right battery system into the system that can handle the load without blowing up the individual cells that it takes to do it. And so basically, when I'm done, you're going to see a complete airframe, but there's going to be a lot of technology built in there that's proprietary, and you won't see. And that's the reason the foundation is ultimately, when I get the project finished, we'll prove the manufacturing intellectual property, and we'll license that intellectual property. If somebody wants to pick it up and manufacture, they don't, well, then, that's no big deal either. You know, I'm not doing this for money. I'm just doing it because um, I want to see what's possible for myself. And but through this journey, you really appreciate what mains power does. So anybody that thinks they're going to screw you, power companies, and they really start building devices that'll do it, they're not going to get there. Okay, so this is kind of reverse of that. The auxiliary power supply business, to do it correctly, is expensive. And yeah, we've got some little tricks of the trade with the lipo iron phosphate batteries, but the lithium, as you're going to find out in production over the years, is going to be rising. So the main companies are really trying to treat lithium as unobtainium. Okay, the unobtainium is something that is out there, and I understand manufacturing inside out, upside down, and backwards. In that, in anything that you manufacture, you're in the commodities business. Okay, and so just really protect the grid, and do your experiments safely, and understand that it's worked for a very long time, and we're just working with each other and having available, convenient energy. So you won't hear me talk bad about utility companies. Yeah, I mean, there's things that happen with specific companies in different parts of the country and everything. I agreed that they could do, and hopefully we'll come to a time and a paradigm to where the greed will go away and money system. But we got a lot of things that's got to happen as far as infrastructure and make that happen. So anyway, the next step is connecting up just to the inverter, and luckily I found a really good company that very ethical, and they do what they say they're going to do. They do it pretty much when they say they're going to do it, and normal response time is within generally 24 hours turnaround. And so things added that they can do or not do, they're very plain spoken. They say, yeah, we can do this. No, we can't do that. Yes, you can do this. No, you can't do that. Hang on just a minute. Hey. Yeah. Give me about 5 more minutes, and I'll do it. I'm posting right now. Okay. Bye. Oh, it's live. But anyway, understanding the challenges of doing that, you can pretty well handle 1.5 kW at 48 volts over a long period of time. And I've tested that for about 3 years. So I've got that part down, and I had to make modifications and adjustments there. Now I'm just, ramping up that 10 times. And I've learned a lot of things over the last 3 years because of that testing. So I really don't have a magic monkey, I don't think, as far as, well, I got George back there, but I've done a lot of research just to get this technology to this point. And the whole thing now is getting the footprint down to where it's light enough to fit in an aircraft, but then it's also useful for home. I'm not really looking at electric vehicles in that market. But I'm convinced from what they're doing now with LiPo batteries, that's going to work fine for cars. I think people are going to try to adapt that to aircraft, but you have too many weak links in that system, in my opinion. I think they're too finicky. So no, you're not late. You're never late. You can always watch this later. Hey, Jason. And but when the rubber meets the road, and that's what I'm doing here, and we'll be demonstrating as the system comes online. What I'm doing now, people go, well, the connections are right here. Go ahead and connect up, and yeah, but at the end of the day, that's just an inverter, and it's an inverter that's 15 kW that has 45 kW potential that allow to pass through. But when you turn those numbers around, you're at over 900 amps, and on the front end, you're 312 amps. So the 312.5, I think. But when you see that potential, the transformer that I have in there, graphene supercaps, you're on the right track. The battery system that I'll actually be using with this is graphite. I've always gone back to saying that it's going to be graphite. One is because with correct setting, you can have that much amperage go through, and the batteries run cool. You don't have to cool them down. So and producing in the lab graphene, I don't want to mess with that stuff, though. I don't want to breathe it and everything else. I want to find a facility that's already into that technology and doing it correctly. That'll happen to work with my system. But then I'm going to run into other things if somebody else makes it off the shelf. So that's the thing about me, is that I'll design it and then find somebody that can do it professionally with what I say. And sometimes, longer life too. But like I said, when you do the math, the 48 volts is maxed out, and so the battery potential that I'm going to be working with are going to be 100 volt DC power supplies, and of course it'd be stepped down in there, but it gives you a wider range of variances when you do it from the top down. And so that's where you got to do. You got to flip the spreadsheet over and make it happen. And I do want somebody else to, as far as putting the units together, I do want somebody else to make those that do it professionally. With activated carbon, just a little bit that I've been making graphene from, it's a messy process. I mean, I don't mind getting messy, but thank God we're learning how to print those things where we can do that in an environment without humans and do it in a much cleaner environment. And the whole thing is a speck of dust can throw the whole thing off. So lots of technology there that we don't have the infrastructure yet, but a lot of people are gearing up. Yep. So just wanted to post what's going on, doing the math, but that's the way that I intend on going. But the PV cells that I'm finding, 400 to 500 watt PV cells operating at up to 1500 volts DC, and the controllers online should get less expensive when you start going up the higher voltages. So it doesn't seem right, but that's the way you keep the weak chains out of the lane. However, in the future, I know if I go anything over 15 kW with the transformer that's in this, like I said, this right now I'm at 170 pounds, and that's before batteries. Okay, and transformer that's proprietary is specially wound. It is wound with ribbon, but it is capable of handling continuously. Actually, it's designed to handle 17.5 kW, not 15. So you've got a little pad there in the transformer as far as the amperage size to handle it. When I start going up the high voltages, if I'm going to do that with the transformer, I've got to quench it and keep it cool, and also keep the potential for burnouts. So that's going to add more weight to the system when I get to there. It's just like anything else. You just take it one piece at a time, and when you really start putting your hands on it and acquiring the stuff to build it, looking around and seeing what's available, I know that I have luckily found, as far as a piece of equipment, I couldn't acquire the parts and build it myself for what I actually paid for my 3 test units. So that's just the way it is. I finally found what to me was a bargain. These type transformers, if you buy them here in the States, in this type, not quite this technology. There's been some modifications that I had specifically done and arranged on these. But these type transformers, inverters in the States are about $3,300, and I paid considerably less than that. And like I said, I don't have these for sale. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm not trying to promote any other companies. If somebody asks me who I've dealt with to obtain these, I'll be gladly share that contact with them and introduce you to that. Do that if you're interested in that. But as far as promoting anybody or getting that kind of stuff, I'm not interested in doing that. This is strictly for my own amusement, if you will. So I've enjoyed it. The guys like you, Jason, and Roy, and Scott, and Gerard Morin, and gosh, there's just so many along the way. John Bedini, the schoolgirl motor has really been my school teacher, and it's so much more to be done in that realm to make it happen. The UFO politics, somebody that I haven't given credit to. The UFO politics, I was on the same line and doing what he was doing, but he was the first one to build it. And I go, well, yeah, there it is. That's exactly what I'm doing. So then I found an off-the-shelf unit and had it rewired, didn't do it myself. People look at it when they go, wow, did you do that? I go, no, I had a guy do it that'd been doing it for 40 years. And he did it for me and did it at a reasonable price. But I have to depend on others. I can't do it all myself. So I'm thankful for all the ones that has done that. And I always put people in contact with people that's helped me. And I do want to give back to the community by helping them. I give so I can get to give again. And that's my way of thinking. So anyway, hope everybody has a blessed day, and keep on keeping on with your research. I hope things that I'm working with, or if they interest you, it's probably because you're thinking on the same line that you want to have a feeling of independence. I do like the feeling of independence, but I'm not a prepper. I always believe in being prepared, and my philosophy is prepare for the worst and you're seldom disappointed. Okay. But, as far as really prepping and digging bomb shelters and, those type things, I'm not that way, storing, a little bit of food. I do probably have enough food if things got really tough for my family immediately to stretch things out for a few few months and stuff. But you know, I'm not trying to store racks and racks of foodstuffs up. So and people think I'm crazy because I'm not really trying to make money. I think, man, if you can do that, you're going to be rich. I'm going, no, that's not even, you know, that's not even what I'm looking at. I'm rich already. I'm rich with friends, family, and my newfound friends through my little channel here, and I just enjoy it. But I hope you guys are having fun, and appreciate and love every one of you, and keep on keeping on. Hope you just keep on having fun, make it fun, and I'll see you next trip.